Welcome back. The South African wine industry is marking the 346th grape wine harvest. On the 2nd of February, 1659, Jan van Riebeeck entered into his diary, quote, "Today, praise to God, wine was made for the first time from Cape grapes." Now, the event is still celebrated each year to this day when collectors, wine producers, social sippers and connoisseurs gather under one roof. And to tell us more about the event, we're now joined via Zoom by Naude, who is the CEO of Groot Constantia. Mr. Naude, very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Good morning, Subiwi, and morning to your listeners.
Now, what's the inspiration behind this concept? I mean, the harvest commemorative event.
The function is basically, or the event consists of three facets. The first facet is to ask a blessing on the new harvest. The second purpose is to, to pay homage to our heritage. The 2nd of February, the Jan van Riebeeck inscription in his diary marking the birthday of the South African wine industry. And as you rightfully said, this was the 364th birthday of the South African wine industry. And then the third facet of the function is to pay tribute to people for their exceptional contribution to the wine industry.
And why is this the most significant event on the wine calendar?
I won't say it's the most significant event, but it's certainly one of the most significant events in South Africa, or on the wine calendar. What makes this date so unique is that, as far as we know, we are the only wine industry that knows the exact date of our origin. And that gives us a very good position of uniqueness, which is very important in the world wine industry, if you have that point of uniqueness. And that is why this date is so important to us.
Yeah. So who are some of the guests that you have honored in the past, and why the decision to honor them in this way? There are so many people in the wine industry that are going beyond just their daily job. They are doing more than what is expected of them. And a few years ago, we was only honoring one person per year. And 3 years ago, we decided we're not going to reach everyone that's worthy of being honored. And that's why we introduced a few other categories to honor people, so that we can really uplift them, and people can strive towards the same level in the industry. And what makes the South African wine industry so unique?
Well, what makes us so unique is the fact that as I said, we're the only wine industry in the world that knows our date of origin. There's a few other things that makes us unique. If you look at where we are producing our wine, we are in the Western Cape. It's called one of the 6 plant kingdoms in the world, the fynbos, which is also the smallest kingdom, but the most diverse kingdom, and which makes it one of the most important plant kingdoms in the world. The footprint of the South African wine industry fits 95% in that fynbos footprint. And that's a very valuable point of uniqueness. If you look at all these different plants that have found a home in this terroir, this environment, this climate, and only here, they don't grow anywhere else. That is just proof to us that we're sitting in a very unique climate, and we're producing our wine in that unique climate, something that no one else in the world has.
Right, right. You know, Jean, you'll recall that about a couple of years ago, the South African agricultural space was hit by one of the worst droughts ever to be experienced by South Africans. So how badly affected was the wine industry then?
It was affected. You know, obviously, we are winter rainfall area, so irrigation water was very limited during those 3 years. There were areas that were more affected by others, but we managed to pull through. We managed to survive. It's a pity that that period was followed by the COVID period, But we're there, we're out of it, and we're surviving, and we're still, as the industry, producing excellent wines that can compete globally.
Right, right. And the South African wine industry, of course, has been around for, what, 364 years? So what do you attribute the industry's success and staying power to?
I would say it's our ability to innovate, make plans. If you take the years during sanctions, we were only producing wine for the local market. Shortly after sanctions was lifted, the industry was adjusted. We had a huge lack in red wine supply when sanctions was lifted. The industry changed and accommodated that demand. And today we are one of the most the most important suppliers to the world market.
All right, Mr. Naude, great chatting to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Sipiwe. All the best. Bye-bye.
Great. Thank you. You too. Well, that was Jean Naude, who is the CEO of Groot Constantia, speaking to us about the South African wine industry marking the 346th grape wine harvest.